everybody, Alexa Zepp here with the Daily Racing Form to go over some selections for this Saturday, July 20th. And was it difficult to pick what track to look at? We have so much going on this weekend. We, of course, have Saratoga, opening day at Del Mar, and Haskell Day at Monmouth Park. But I landed on Haskell Day, so I'm going to do the All Stakes Pick 4, starting in race 9 and going through race 12. Race 9 is the Wolf Hill Stakes, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. I'm spreading in here and using 4 horses. I'm going to use the number 4, Alagon. He's a defending champion. He won it last year with a 95 buyer. There's plenty of upside here. He has tactical speed. It has been almost a year since finding the winner's circle, which was this race, but I think with his recent performances, he has the capability to come back and defend his title. I'll also use number 5, Arzak, who is the morning line favorite. He's on a roll, winning 3 out of his 5 most recent starts, including 2 grade 2s. He lost the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint by 2 lengths, which was still a great performance. And then he ran really well in the Jaipur, getting second to Cogburn. He's only run once at Monmouth, which wasn't a super stellar performance, but then again, it was 3 years ago over yielding turf, so I'm not concerned about it. I have a price play in here with the number 7, Outlaw Country, at 15-1 morning line. This is absolutely the toughest spot he's ever seen, but he loves the grass at Monmouth. He's won 4 out of 5 starts on the course, and he's coming off a win. I think this could be too tough a spot for him, but he's improved so much last out, and he loves this course so much that I'm going to throw him in there at his odds. Also be using the number 8, Nothing Better. This is an early pace horse. He won last out, second off the layoff with a 96 buyer, which is almost his lifetime best figure. Duarte is this smaller but really successful trainer with 28% win and 26% for winning last start. Next race is race 10, the grade 3 Monmouth Cup Stakes, going 1.125 miles on the dirt. It's an 8-horse field with a slow pace that should favor front runners. I'll be using the number 3, Highland Falls. This is the favorite. The pace setup really isn't in the best favor for him being a closer. However, he's definitely shown more recent talent than anyone in here and has closed into slow paces to win before, like he did in January at Fairgrounds. So in my opinion, he's definitely a valid favorite. I really like the number 4, Counter Spy, as a price play. This pace setup for him should really benefit him. His run at Parks in April is really interesting to me. He got away in the lead, but it was fast fractions and heavily favored closers that day, but still maintained the lead and won by quite a bit. So he definitely seems to be a little bit inconsistent, a little bit on again and off again, but at 10-1 morning lines, I'll gamble on him being on again today. Finally, another price play, the number 6, Surface to Air, at 20-1 morning line. This horse, since being claimed, his last 2 starts has improved 24 speed points. So maybe they cracked the code. He's doing something right. And this trainer is also 32% for winning last start with almost a $4 ROI. He also has a bullet work at 4-47, first out of 137 horses. This is his first time over the course, but at 21 odds, definitely include him on your ticket. Next is race 11, the grade 2 United Nation Stakes, going 1.375 miles on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. Almost half of this field is coming out of the grade 3 Monmouth last month, which had a very competitive blanket finish. So that might be an indicator of what we're going to expect here today. However, this is a little bit of an added distance, and if I'm watching that replay, the only 2 horses in that race that looked to be still really going strong at the end and like they might like some more distance was the number 5, Fort Washington, and the number 9, Tawny Port. Getting decent morning lines on both of them. I will be using number 5, Fort Washington, I believe 8-1 morning line. Probably the best closer in the race. He won that grade 3 Monmouth Stakes, well, dead heated for it last out. And he's 2 for 2 at Monmouth, so he really likes the course, coming off his lifetime best buyer, so I really do like his progression coming into this race. I'll also be using the number 7, Data Man. This horse seems to be really developing into his 4-year-old year. He's coming off 2 wins, both in stakes races, and one of them over the grass at Monmouth. I know Motion is very thoughtful with race placement, and at 10-1, I like him for an upset. I'll be using number 10, Web Slinger. Whew. You can probably relate to me about Web Slinger. This is a frustrating one. He's so good. He's always at the party, but sometimes it just feels like he has trouble finding the winner's circle. That being said, he has been running against really tough competition in Grade 1 races and has an incredible late kick that we've seen, and that very possibly will be enough in this field, which I think will be a little bit easier than he's been facing. And I do think he'll have a very fast pace to run at. I'll also use number 12, Farbridge. Also a closer in here. He ran 100 Beyer last out in the Grade 1 Manhattan, which is the best last out of anybody in here. The added distance should benefit his running style, and with his recent figures, he really doesn't have to improve in order to beat the field. I think a lot of this race will be determined by who gets the best trip, as we often do see in big turf routes. And finally, the feature of the day, race 12, the Grade 1 Haskell, going 1.1 miles on the dirt. It is predicted to have a fast pace. It's interesting in here because we've heard through the rumor mill that Dornoch potentially could scratch. I think he'll stay in. We do know for almost a fact that Fierceness is going to scratch out of the race as long as Mindframe stays in, and Fierceness will point towards the Jim Dandy at Saratoga, which leads me to Mindframe. I love Mindframe. I think he's probably the best 3-year-old horse that we have in the country right now. You know, he's won his 2 first starts absolutely dominantly and then got second to Dornoch in the Belmont last out. But I truly am a believer that Dornoch was severely aided by the speed bias that day, and that Mindframe was simply the best horse. He did falter a little bit in the stretch with the whip, but remember, this is only his 3rd start. He's so fresh and he's still learning so much. Pletcher has multiple in here. He's got the number 3 Tuscan Sky. So I think, Tuscan Sky can kind of be a little bit of a pawn and help reel in Dornoch and get the best possible trip for Mindframe. So he is my single in this sequence. It's 4x3x4x1 pick 4. So for a 50-cent base bet, it costs $24. I think we have a really good shot at getting some prices in here and hopefully a really good payout. So best of luck in this really exciting weekend of racing all over the country, and especially if you play this pick 4 with me at Monmouth.